Hello, Nova Scotia. Well, I guess the theme of this trip is my timings are all off. Wasn't the right time to go to Beechwood Cemetery. Wasn't the right time. You know, it's a good thing I didn't book my room up in Edmundston up there. I was going to, and I was on the phone, and I said, well, I'll call back. I only made it to Fredericton last night, and it's a good thing I didn't have any commitments today, because I just left Tim Hortons, Sackville, New Brunswick. Pulled in there and have something to eat and a coffee. And I noticed this guy in the line up a little bit ahead of me. I don't know why I noticed him, but just did. He reminded me of somebody that I know. So when I come outside, my bike was parked on the hill up a way, and I saw him up there, and I thought, oh God, here we go. So I could hear him talking on the phone, and I was having my coffee and I knew that he wanted to approach me, and I could hear something like, so how you doing? And I was kind of looking away, but anyway, he came back and he said, do you mind? I know that you're eating. I said, no, it's all right. He said, I really, really love your vest. I see you're a veteran, your plate on the bike. And he said, I too am a veteran. He said, I have the poppy. He had a Legion hat on. So we got into a long discussion about the poppy. And then I understood, that it's copyrighted. So we talked quite a bit about that. And that led to, like the kind of the use or misabuse of a copyrighted item. It led in to my conversation about one of the names that's not on my vest that used to be there, of how, I'll put it this way, that I was kind of raked over the coals last summer, for that name. So, we discussed that. He was very sympathetic, to that. And we got into talking. We joined the military at the same time. We're the same age. He seemed to be a very, very educated man, and I think he's taken a big part in the Legion. Talked about the Cold War, talked about training, where we served, all kinds of things. So many things similar. And he said, he had a conversation with his daughter, and she said, Dad, I'm worried about, this Putin and nuclear war and all this stuff. And he said, honey, don't worry, sweetie. He said, it's going to be all right. And she said, no, you don't understand. He said, you don't have to worry about long term, like living in this. And he kind of smiled, and he said, a real twinkle in his eye, and he looked at me. He said, I said, honey, when I went to school, we were taught in school, when the siren goes, how to crawl under your desk, how to come up against a curb. It never ended about training in school, about nuclear war, the Russians. And he said, all my career in the military, I sat behind, all over the world, screens watching for Russian missiles. And when I come home, it never left. So he said, sweetie, it'll be all right. So that led him into talk about that he was in therapy, struggling with PTSD from a lifetime of such. And he's looked at me and he said, John, I have never told a single soul outside of therapy that I'm dealing with this. You're the first person. And he was looking me right in the eye, and I just stood there and kept my presence. And I could feel the walls come down, the judgment walls. That the man was brave enough to open up and share that with me, and he felt that the time was right. Here's a trusting soul that I can share my struggle with. The same as I do with you guys. And as he was talking, was like I found my purpose for this trip. So anyway, we stayed there and we talked probably for over an hour. And he grabbed my hand at the end of it. He said, John, he said, it's been an absolute honor. He said, thank you so much.